Hey everybody, and looks like we're live again for the second show, so hopefully everything is going good now. We did have quite a few spikes. I had 5 spikes, and then it just basically took out the camera, so I had to restart the show. So there we go. And we're going to try and finish today's content because that's what we do. We get back up on the horse and finish that. So let's do that. Let me just bring in the studio there. We're going to make sure that is set up as well and finish the show because I like to get the finish done, as they say, the finish done. All right, without further ado, let's tick away from there, and we're going to switch our view now and go back to the chart for the Ethereum chart. So hopefully that is operating nicely there. All right, let's see how we get on. I think we're getting people back watching. Yeah, we are, so it's great. All right, so at the moment, we got Ethereum at 2,000. Like I say, that's kind of where we are on that. We'll keep a lookout. We're in the range. Let's have a look. Crypto Rover there. Obviously talking about the huge stablecoin inflows for ETH over the last month. Obviously with the anticipation around banking yield. In terms of the yield battle, and I still expect us to continue to have stablecoins come into the chain despite the Clarity Act and of course the banks winning the yield battle there, because we'll still have active yield, and I think there'll be innovations around that. So maybe not as big as we would expected originally, but I think it's still going to keep flowing in. So the main themes still are tokenization and AI revenue, as well as creator revenue, things like that. So that is what we're looking forward to. All the big banks and corporates coming in for that, and exchanges. So that's pretty awesome though. But look at Ethereum really dominating there, guys. Solana was actually negative. We got Ethereum there really positive there on those flows. So something like close to $5.5 billion. So we'll keep looking out for that in the next months because that's going to be pretty important. Let's jump over to some of the other stuff we've got going on at the moment. Now, I wanted to get into Richard Hart, of course, for Pulse Chain. Now, we talked about Tom Lee leading the way with Ethereum, digital asset treasury. They've been buying another 117,000, I think it was, Ethereum. Now, he's doing a lot of big things there. We've talked a lot about that, but Tom Lee also leading a ton of capital and potentially the new monetary system onto the blockchain. So Ethereum's going to, Bitcoin measure is going to play a huge role there. That's what we're expecting to happen at the moment. So let's jump into Richard Hart. Of course, Richard Hart is the third person we're talking about leading the way for the bull market, and of course with Pulse Chain. And at the moment, we've got him making comments like, "I choose to keep working hard instead of cry-fagging," usually works. So he's doing a lot of things. We've seen a lot of things happen recently. Obviously, we've got the ProveX peer-to-peer privacy technology. The idea of that, disintermediating the centralized exchanges, really DeFi, becoming the king of the hill. So we've got that in play right now from Richard Hart. And we've also got him doing a number of things around inflation. So new software, inflation is some key things there. We saw incentive token lowered yesterday by 100x, so 99% down there. And of course, basically making incentive token virtually non-inflationary. And we saw a big spike in the ETH price yesterday, which is still holding up pretty well, even though it's down today. So Richard Hart's definitely on the move. What other moves could be coming up? Well, there's lots of different speculations around potential wallet and stablecoin, although we do see Liberty Swap doing very much of the stuff that one would have expected from Richard, and at the highest level, at the most professional level there. So we're excited about all that interaction. We got day 1052 on Pulse at 50761, down 2.2 3/4, or 2 2/3, I should say, percent. PulseX at the moment at 50600, down 2.6%. So we're not down too much today on those. The ETH token, after the big rally yesterday over 40 cents, is down 13.5% today, 36 cents after that post-inflation cut. Essentially, ETH token inflation is really cut. I thought it was pretty much cut before, but it's really cut now, down to zero. Hex at the moment is at 13/100th of a penny. Down 1.5%. So, Richard's been making moves, working hard, and, we've had ProveX and inflation. And last year, remember, we had Hex inflation. We've seen even more Hex inflation reduced with the OA restaking, etc. So, or at least extended, let's say. So that is pretty cool. yeah, we got PHEX at the moment, 1300th of a penny, down 1.6%. But look at EHEX at 3.052. Unbelievable price for EHEX right now. Combined price EX and PX is at 1800th of a penny, let's say. The gas prices, how we're doing? 770,000 beats, pretty low. 0.2 of a penny for a PulseX swap. Validators right now, 51,273 validators. We're up just a few there, I guess, after our big whale left and dumped our charts. The bridge at the moment, 68.68 million. So it's pretty similar to yesterday, maybe down a little bit there from yesterday, but still pretty similar. All right, let's jump into some of the stuff we're going to talk about. The bridge, so we did have net, even though we had net outflows yesterday, we had net inflows in the last update for the bridge, and that was a net flow of 83k, so that's kind of cool. 360k in, 276k out. I thought we'd bring that in because it's a little positive there. Let's jump over to the deck screen and have a look at the performers at the moment. So we've got 9mm exchange making a pretty decent move, up 25%. Now, obviously, we're expecting that to do particularly well if Pulse, recovers. But if we look at the weekly here, we've got a really nice strong bounce from 9mm. So people obviously keeping a lookout for that. Remember, they've been paying about 15 to 20k in dividends. Typically 20k, but discount a little bit because the price has gone down. So it's kind of cool. We see a recovery in there. Look at that. So there are counter move to the chain. Pulse, going down, but looks like they bounced off 2800th of a penny, and now they're back up at 4200th of a penny, trying to head back towards half a cent. They got pretty close to it yesterday. The RSI bouncing off the 26. So 9mm, our second biggest DEX. We only really have two DEXs, or two solid DEXs. We have balance of forks and things, but essentially that. So we're most of the value. 424k. Now obviously Pulse recovers really strong. This is going to hyper recover, and I've been saying that for some time, right? So there we go. Now some people were asking about what should I invest in yesterday. Obviously you need to do your own investment decisions. We cover a lot of the quality projects on here. Occasionally there will be something that we don't know, right? So that's always out there, guys. Whenever you think about that, there's always something we don't know, whether it's mates dumping coins or whatever. There's always things that we don't know. We're just looking at what we can see and making inferences and probabilities and all sorts of things like that. So take note of that. But we tend to cover most of the blue chips is kind of what we try to do. We also cover more speculative projects too. There we go. We got big ratio jump there. Look at that, dramatic. This is just in 2 weeks, guys. 9mm has gone from 266 Pulse, guys, to 578. So that's amazing. And while Pulse was still going down, that's pretty awesome. So up to 121% on the ratio. That's pretty awesome. Very small liquidity, 30k, but still performing pretty well there over the last week. Look at that. So counter move there on the old 9mm DEX. All right, so we've got that at the moment. We've got Pepe up 14%, the meme coin. Probably super cheap still, but it's up 14% today. We must have a quick look at it while we're here. We've got the Pulse ratio at the moment, and we've got a nice little bounce back there in today from 28 to 34 Pulse. So there we go. That's not too bad, but it's still coming off the bottom ranges, isn't it? But still not too bad there. Way back here it was really low. Let's go to the weekly because it's such a long chart. It used to live down here. It used to live at 7 Pulse. So it's still much higher than that at the moment. Topped up here about 95 Pulse. So those days are not here yet, but see where it might go from here. UFO up 6% versus PulseX. Go Pulse up 5%. Stake Deep up 4.8. So we've got a little bit of gainers going on here. Zero Trust tied into the Peacock system up 2.8%. Zendog also tied in the Peacock. Both of those up 2.6%. Phoenix up 2.5% there. Firewall up 2.5%. Top Hat from Crypto Coffee tied into Peacock as well. So we've got a few Peacock tokens moving, 2.4%. Mafia coin there from Rack and Rochelle. And Jen, of course, is the CEO. 31 cents there. Big shout to Jen out there. So we were commenting, at least liking a few of the posts yesterday we covered, because we did make a few comments about Mafia. We keep an open mind, looking forward to Coinwell and Coinaki, and I just don't have a proper update on that at the moment. So looking forward to do that. I will talk about that when we get some more info there. Smorg is 1.3%. Like I say, it's market timing, right? A lot of these projects, you're wondering why they're not launching. That's just the market, right? No one wants to launch in this market at the moment. They do want to launch when the market starts picking up a little bit and they feel like the light is shining for the reversal in the market trend. That's probably what they're kind of hoping for, and then they get to ride up the other end with a lot more better sentiment than people participate, right? It's kind of the play there. Smorg at the moment up 1%. So we've got lots of coins up 1%. That includes a little bit of Peacock there, 1% there on one of the pairs at least. Some of the other pairs are down slightly. What else? That's pretty much it. So we only got 27 coins at the moment that are green in US dollar terms or up. So there we go. And that's probably pretty similar to the pulse price as well. So everything else is down, right? Everything else is down. Provix at the moment 4073. Let's go find the big US dollar pair though. Peacock at the moment sitting just below 1.2 cents and so on. So there we go. ZKP down a little bit. Emmett Farm, which we're going to talk about. So we're going to Emmett Farm's got their one year birthday. We're going to talk about that coming up. Incentive token there just coming off yesterday's pump. Let's have a quick look at that, shall we? Incentive token. I'm just trying to find the biggest pair here. It's the ink token there. After yesterday's pump. Let's see, yesterday's pump. 2 days pump ago. We got pumped all the way up to 45 cents it was. So there we go. We're all down at 31. Really nice pump there, but back down to 35. Welcome to the pulse chain. It's going a little bit like that, isn't it, guys? But that is it. We will find a bottom at some stage, and then we will get reversed up. And of course, as I said, if you got Michael Saylor putting the electric eyes on, you got Tom Lee still stepping up the buys. He doubled his buys, so we had 65k. We expecting him to disclose 117,000 ETH buy for this week on Monday. When they do the disclosures. Remember, Strategy and BitMine Mission do disclosures on Monday. And then we've got Richard being quite active around the fact that he's working. He wants pulse chain season. He's doing stuff around the software and inflation and things like that. So he's just trying to probably bid in the low on the chain. Obviously, he's up against a lot of capitulators, which he tends to like them leaving. So he won't be too happy. I guess he won't be completely happy with the price going down, but he's actually likes to get rid of these big players that may sell later on, right? So he's kind of like, oh well, if you're going to give up, you give up, that kind of thing. So that's kind of the play there, 35 cents, and that's where we are on the old ink there. But let's jump into some of the bullish news. So we've gone through the charts, which don't look so hot today, but they're not particularly down either. They're not pretty flattening out in the old pulse chain. But let's have a look at the big, what I call the crack in the pulse chain is Liberty Swap. We do have obviously other good projects out there. We're going to talk about Emmett Farm in a minute, which is one of those. Definitely, these projects all have different, risk returns, and they also have obviously different, fundamentals and parameters and things like that. So just take note of that whenever we're talking about any particular project. You got to look at, the whole thing. We did have a lot of cool stuff happening here with them. So let me just talk a little bit about this. I don't know whether we got up to that yesterday. Let me just find out where we got up to yesterday. It's got up here. We got so Solana. This is around Solana. So the cool thing about Liberty Swap is they're really taking away all the barriers. Have you noticed that they're taking away all the barriers for Pulse Chain? So to connect up to all the multi-chain world, taking away the barriers while giving people all the DeFi they love, but also privacy as well. A true DeFi project at the frontier. It really is the Kraken of Pulse Chain, and really doing a lot of the stuff Richard Hart has had on his roadmap and his visions he's talked about. I would say it's actually going well beyond that, actually. So we're excited about where the Liberty Swap is going over time. So we've got not only EVM chains, but SVM chains as well. Solana has finally built a solution for private-to-private transfers. Woohoo! And of course, Liberty Swap takes advantage of all these. They're always looking out for this technology from other chains that they can incorporate. This means you can now shield your funds and perform fully shielded transfers, private to private, just like Zcash and Railgun's shielded balances. Solana ZK-based shielded pool is much faster too, obviously, SVM chains. They use private shared state for user balances, so you don't need to pass every ZK proof to rebuild your balance each time. Great news, they will soon be part of Liberty Shield. Isn't that incredible? That is incredible. So fantastic stuff there. And we might as well repost that. Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. All right, so that is cool from Liberty Swap. And let's jump up here a little bit, see what else they're working on at the moment. We obviously talked about this yesterday, the GitHub repository that they set up. And of course, it's to consolidate data and code and make it publicly accessible. It has come to my attention that our developers uploaded both the new pump tires coin data submitted by users to Liberty Swap, which is interesting, and token list data sourced from BTC open source token list without providing proper attribution. We apologize for this oversight and are working with the team to ensure proper credit is given and the repository is corrected accordingly there. So there we go, just a little oversight there from the team. What else we got going on here? 4 hours ago, we currently have few products. I guess that's what they're trying to say. We currently have a few products, each with slightly different approach to handling gas. So they've got all those there, Liberty Swap and Shield. So they're talking a bit about that. Liberty X, a ZK wallet, which is coming, right? This is coming up here. ZK wallet is being developed with broader usability in mind. It includes functionality, some of the Rabby, which I really like the Rabby experience. Unfortunately, Rabby, of course, faked DeFi and deserted the Pulse chain, and allowed users to pay gas using their own tokens inside of the native token. This could potentially help solve gas friction, not just our products, but for Pulse chain dApps as well. We're actively working on this, which is kind of cool. So that is from Liberty Swap. So all these enhancements, great. Always removing the boundaries there. 3 hours ago, talked to the Pulse chain doctors. Their advice is simple: avoid all kinds of unnecessary trauma. The devs are still working non-stop. Expect some good news in early April there. Exciting. Doctor diagnosed me retarded. Oh, there we go. Chad moves as usual. What else we got from them? Deal with it. April looks bullish. It could happen anytime soon. We're working hard on Liberty X. Let's see where this will take us. And also something related to stablecoins on Pulse chain. Now, they've teased this a couple of times, right, around the yield. Something new yield coming and stablecoins. And, of course, we also know that stablecoins was on Richard Hart's map, right? Obviously, there's the PDI crew. They want the PDI to $1. But, you know, maybe it's around Liberty Swap's wallet product. They've got the new token that you're going to have stakeable, right? So we don't know exactly the percentages, but if you're holding Peacock, you're supposed to be getting a pretty decent chunk of I've always got this wrong, so I've got to make sure I get the token right. The ZKX, I think that's ZKXP, or something like that. Anyway, their token that they're dropping for the wallet, I'll memorize it eventually. I always get the letters wrong around the wrong way. But that's coming up, and they're going to be stakeable for that. So, you know, the big airdrop coming there. And earning yield fees and stuff like that, so it'll be pretty cool. But they also got this keep teasing about stablecoins, something related to stablecoins on Pulse chain is coming, and this is going to be a big deal because we know stablecoins are a big deal. So we'll see what drops with this. So yeah, and what it actually includes. Is it PDI? Is it Richard Hart kind of thing? Is it collateralizing tokens? Is it, you know, is it the privacy token doing something? We'll see. We'll see what happens here. Is it Peacock that's used as collateral? You know, we'll find out exactly what they've got in mind here. But they keep teasing this yield-bearing token and also obviously the privacy wallet and the stablecoin stuff. So keep a lookout for that, because these guys are going to pretty much, I think, dominate everything. That's pretty much where we're heading here. That's why I keep covering it, guys. These guys keep going. We have one secret weapon that Ethereum guys are guaranteed to love and use to move billions for real. So that's coming up as well. Another teaser. How many teasers do these guys put on? Because, you know, they're probably going to do everything, right? That's the idea. Secrets so juicy they will have to list Peacock coming soon. Peacock, indeed. Talking about billions, so corny. Time to provide services to Ethereum whales and earn some fees for taking care of them. The price maker? Hold teddy bear accountable. Yeah, I don't know what they're always talking about that guy for. But that's pretty interesting. Let's scroll back up here as well. The website is beautiful. This is what conviction looks like. We can make the flock great. I'm so happy to share this journey with you friends. Peacock to $10. I'm trying to look at see what this is. The $10dream.com website is officially live. Now you can follow my journey of building Peacock. Reserve $10 at a time. There we go. Someone's experience there. Got his portfolio, what's just started from the looks of it. So that is from a Peacock and Liberty Swap. So we're excited about where they're heading, guys. We're so excited about where they're heading. Diddle the like button, says Diamond Hand. Absolutely. Yeah, we've got some stability now. I have 5 glitches. I never had that yet, so I'm not sure whether it's a power spike or an internet spike, but it happened. It happened. All right, so that is Liberty Swap. We're keeping an eye on there. These guys are bringing us the heavyweight products, ecosystem expansion. They're doing it all, guys. It's coming. It's coming. Very cool. I wonder whether they're going to eventually issue a metaverse for the Hexco Island. Is that coming up? Where you're going to be able to buy parcels of land or condos or something at Hexco? I don't know. We'll see. Keep a lookout for that. Maybe you can use your Richard Cause to get your purchase in. We'll see. All right, so that is coming up for that. Now, I wanted to get to, just to finish off the show, I wanted to get to Emmett Farms. Emmett Farm, essentially, I would argue, we've probably got about 8 farms, maybe somewhere in that ballpark, maybe possibly 9. Some of them are not, they not got much liquidity on them anymore or yield. But definitely Emmett Farm has been leading the way overall. I'm not talking about just an innovation, because obviously we've got some very innovative farms out there like Nexian and Function On and things like that. So definitely a lot of innovation out there. But in terms of leading, I think overall, one might say in terms of size of TVL, sustainable yields, collabs, everything else, then we've been impressed by Emmett Farm. So huge congrats to Emmett Farm and founder Kairos for their 1-year birthday, successful tokenomics and management that have delivered consistently high APRs, farms on Pulse Chain. So consistently high, where you're earning, 1 to 300% generally, which is pretty amazing. And they've been around for a year. That's a phenomenal result, right? Sometimes typically a typical farm might last, maybe 2 months at most. But these guys have really found the balance, getting the right balancing, doing a lot of work in the background, making a lot of collabs, doing promotional work and things like that. So these guys have really crushed it there, and it's great to have that offering and during a bear market too, guys. So it's been pretty cool. So Emmett, their 1-year milestone, yeah, awesome stuff. So congratulations to them. Let's quickly go through while we're there. Let's quickly go through what they do, right? So let's have a quick look at the Emmett Farm there. And they've got the farms here. So let's have a quick look at some of the really cool features that have helped them to be winners, right, on the Pulse Chain. Pretty much, leading, this sort of farm category in a sense. So we got the price at the moment at $1, so it's holding it pretty well there. Typically tends around $1.12, $1.20. Obviously, the market's down at the moment, so it's sitting around $1. The emission rate is really key, so it's $750 a day, basically, at the moment, at the current price of the token. So it's pretty balanced from that point of view. You're not offering up $10,000 a day, so to speak. So it's really just humming along, and that's kind of neat there. And it gives them a lot of time to build out collabs and new partnerships. It's got a lot of the top tier stuff. Now, not only do we have the solid token price of Emmett, and we have a fantastic inflation rate or emission rate there, 750. We also have a burning token, so they have burning tokens there as well. But the emission, so this stake Emmett, so you stake the Emmett token itself, you earn ETH, and you earn it from the yield. So it has a reflection token based on volume. Obviously, the more volume, the more income earned. But they keep the dynamics going with a lot of the LP farms and the new collabs and all sorts of stuff to help keep that going. And of course, that inflation rate. So it's pretty clever like that. They have the APR at the moment of ETH earning is 125%, spectacular. And you've got a little calculator there, basically, 1.57% per week, 0.22% daily return. And there's $161,000 of Emmett in there right now. And we know that True Farm and True2X have been using this along with their own True Farm, which is a fork copy of this, essentially. And they've got their True Farm token over there. So, pretty awesome expansion. So Kairos has got many other protocols he's launched as well, which has been pretty cool. And then you've got all the pools that earn that combination with Emmett and all the other pools like Pulse and Richard Art Cause. And then you have all the other cool stuff that's going on with the Emmett Farm. You got the Vouch project, right? So the #1 validator on Pulse Chain. So you got that in here. It's fantastically. The yields of 189 to 186. and people can come in and pick off any of these yields, right, and just sit back and relax there. And as long as they're active, they tend to survive, right? If something becomes inactive, then it's no use having a yield there, and you would just, rebalance the platform, which is what also happens, from time to time. Ink printer there from Fast Abdul, the big liquidity fork there based on INC token. You got yields there at the moment. You got 16% for Ink dollar USDC, so stable coins, and no emit pair there. But for the emit pair, over here, Ink dollar, you got 156% at the moment, and going there. Now, obviously, with the lower TVL, it will relative to the APR, so just take note of that in there, and also the amount of allocation that they get from the yield, right? So 2.4% here of the yield going out, I guess every day, is it? I'm not sure if that's daily, but we've got Pulse Bitcoin, obviously big OG team there, along with Fat Sammy. You got Pump Tires there with the old Pump Fund. You got a lot of key tokens in there. You've got Crypto Paradise, one of the big KOL teams on Pulse Chain. You got community tokens there as well, including Tetra, Dark, and many others. There's a lot of the community general tokens in there. Gelato. You got Polskin Store, obviously doing huge giveaways. I think they got a $50,000 giveaway coming up, equivalent for Polskin Store. It's pretty cool. You got True Farms, so they got partnerships, competitor / farms on there. True Farm doing a great job there. And you got RhinoFi, one of the more innovative protocol teams on the Pulse chain with the old 28-day treasury recharging and buying and burning. We've got Impulse there. There's an OG project from Kairos, the founder of Emmet Farm. You got Function Island there, another competitor farm, very innovative, of course. They're from Donny D, the founder, and you got high yields on that too. So pretty cool, supporting both Island and Yield, which are the two tokens from Function Island. You've got Actuator there as well. Actuator. You got Hocus Pocus, one of the big NFT / DeFi yield platforms or information. You got the Grays Currency there, the first big DAO token, so one of the blue chips on Pulse Chain. Peru Banana, big shout out to him. And you got high yields there. UFO, Emmet, look at that, 211%, pretty good. You got Vic Foundation, non-profit on Pulse Chains. Yeah, we've got non-profits on Pulse Chain, and they support veterans and first responders with, reflections and the DAO, and they do that through there. So it's kind of cool. No Permissions, another big KOL on Pulse Chain. Randy Alasky got yields there as well, looking pretty tasty as well. Kind of cool. And we had the old Fire Whale tokens still on there as well, so they're still earning some yield. Vox is another competitor, and they're on here as well. So Emmet Farm, embraces competitors and offers yields for those as well. So there we go. We got PyPool in there as well, and we got Nexion, another competitor. Now Nexion's quite a broad DeFi ecosystem as well. So they do a lot of other stuff, but they're in there as well. So big shout out to the Nexion team, Psycho and Leaf out there. So kind of cool. You can kind of see these guys, Chorus doing an amazing job. So a big happy birthday to the Emmet team and Chorus. And then, of course, the price of Emmet right now, ticking away, looking pretty solid. Look at that. After 1 year, look at that chart. It's the weekly candles and doing very well. And this is in a bear market on Pulse Chain too. So just take note of that. That's kind of neat. So there we go, folks. Arguably the number one farm on a Pulse Chain, ticking away there. But we've got some other good ones. True Farm, of course, they fork with this. We've got Nexion, we've got Function Island, we've got many others on the chain. Vox, etc. It really is a cool place to be. And we've got more exotic ones too. Slightly different from farms, but things like Axel and others doing OTC lending and things like that, peer-to-peer lending. So Pulse Chain's got lots of different nooks and crannies in this category, farm category. All right, so that's pretty much it. We got through the show without another glitch in the matrix. I do apologise for that. I didn't really have any control over it. Just sometimes it happens. We had 5 of them in a row. It probably was some sort of reactive power surge or something. I don't know, or something like that. Who knows? All right, so I hope you enjoyed that. So we've got 2 parts. That's what I call the second part. The first part there. We got, so just summarize, we got Michael Saylor for strategy, turning the electric eyes on. Last time that happened, Bitcoin started to really push higher. We got Tom Lee there buying up all the Ethereum, building out the new monetary system and finance on the ETH chain. And then we've got the Richard Hart on Pulse chain, building out the true DeFi chain. You think about that, true DeFi offerings on the old Pulse chain and setting us up arguably for the magic carpet ride ahead. So if you manage to survive, then yeah, you're picking up massive volumes at the moment. We get that magic carpet ride, then yeah, you're going to get that time value offset. Let's put it that way. Think about time value. Oh yeah, we've been in a big downtrend. But at the moment you're picking up big volumes and if the magic carpet ride comes, then you're going to get the X's on the time / versus the volume, right? That's kind of the logic there. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thanks to Time in Hand for being the only comment of the day. And normally we get lots of comments, but we only got one comment, maybe due to the glitches in the matrix. All right, I'll catch you guys again tomorrow. We have got the Monster Thread coming out tomorrow, Monster Thread number 47. If you are a project team out there, you want to get involved with that. It's a professional publication on Pulse Chain from the Kryptonite Show. MVS is going to be working on that as well over the next day. So definitely hit us up there, either myself or MVS, if you want to get yourself in there. Exciting times ahead. All the oddest news from the week in there as well, while we're in these bear market conditions. But you know, what's the market say? Buy low, sell high. So we're in the low zone, trying to find the bottom, hunt for the bottom, and it's always an opportunity for there as well. And if you bought higher, you can always buy low and lower your average cost, which means that we recover. You only need a much smaller recovery to get you back to break even. So that's the way of looking at that. Obviously, nothing on this channel is financial advice. You must always do your own due diligence. But hey, look, we're dropping the alpha as well. If you guys haven't joined our strategy club, links in the video description and pinned to the top of X there. Go through the Whoop store, sign up just over $1 a day and get all the alpha posted in there all day long, every day. So pretty much, apart from occasional day off or something. All right, enjoy. Catch you guys tomorrow. Oscar says thank you for the update. You're most welcome. It's truly going to be glorious, guys. And sometimes these special events like the Iranian conflict, a godsend because everything's discounted. Stock market's discounted. PE ratio is discounted. I think we're down to 17, 18 on the PE. Typically 25 or something is like average. So going to be able to pick up Tesla super cheap because maybe Tesla merges with SpaceX IPO. All these sort of things, opportunities, right? That you could end up gaining from. So we'll keep a lookout for that. Things like that, all over the place. All right, I think that's it. All right, take care, everybody. I'll catch you again tomorrow. Bye for now.